Howdy all, welcome back to another episode of Modded Minecraft. I am your forever humble host, Reactors, and we're back today with another episode of the Tech Pack. And what we're going to mess with is a little bit of EnderIO power generation. But the first thing we have to do is create some fuel. Eventually we need to create some rocket fuel. That's kind of the high end, so that's what we're going to make. And to kind of start off, see that little room back there, I ran another dense cable off of our ME system here. That gives me 32 channels I can play around with, and we P2P, so we didn't have to use the expensive cable under the floor here, and came up over here to our P2P tunnel up into this cable, and that it's just going to allow for a little bit more expansion, because we are going to need a little bit more before we're finished with this project. But right now I just have two channels going off to these export buses, and this is what we're going to need for fuel to make hootch. Hootch is the first step in making the rocket fuel. So I've got wheat in here coming out of our ME system, and over here I have sugar, and it's actually being crafted as it's being sent over here, because I don't have a lot of sugar in the system. I do have a lot of sugar cane, so it's saying that it can use either with the crafting card, it allows me to say either use stocked items, so that's saying if I have any sugar in the system it'll use it. If not, it'll craft it by the recipe that we have in our system. And we do have a crafting recipe for sugar, which is, you know, very, very simple, but you have to have that recipe to do that. So that is our sugar, and that's going to give us our combination for hooch. Of course, we need water too. And we're going to do it down where we were doing our Buildcraft fuel project, which I did kind of fix with an RF controller. So now, when this thing gets down below 80%, it's going to set off a redstone signal that will turn all this on. So it's hopefully it won't be fluctuating on and off, but I'm kind of thinking this is going to just do the same damn thing. It's just going to get to 80, 81%, and then shut off and then do that again. So I don't know if there's really a way to, other than maybe I could do it with Computercraft, but I think I would need open peripherals to really be able to do that, because I don't know if it'll tag into this or not. That may be something I'll mess around with. Have been messing around quite a bit with Computercraft. But this is going to be our room that will eventually do. The actual creation is going to be very small. I'm not going to make huge tanks like I did for the oil, and this was just an experiment with Buildcraft, see if I could do that. The floodgate and the pump to make a tank. These are pretty deep. You can't really see how far down they go, but they're pretty far down. They're maybe 20 blocks deep or so. They're fairly deep. Of course, that one bedrock drum right there holds a lot more than that does, which is weird. But hey, compression technology. So what we're going to do is we're going to have two chests, and we will put them just right here and right there. That's going to be our wheat, and that's going to be our sugar cane. And I need to get some pipage and everything together, and we'll be right back, and we'll kind of set up the first stage, which will be hooch. So be back in 1 second. Alrighty. I'm going to grab a drum over here. Got an extra one. We're going to use that. I don't think we want to store a lot of hooch, but we shall see. So the first thing we're going to need to do is come out, get the items out. So we got some item conduits. We're going to slap them on there, and we're going to go over here to a vat. Should we go up one maybe? So we can pull out of the bottom the hooch. Does it really matter? We'll try that. And then we'll just put the water up on top. Does that fill that up? It sure does. Oh, crap, we need power. Oh, do I have a tesseract? I do. Okay, we'll take that one. And for now, we'll just slap it down here and turn this on to our power sources and make sure receiving. Okey-doke. That gives us power. Okay. And now we got to set this up to insert. Let me see here. Open hand probably be the easiest way. We want this to insert. But this is the highest priority. And we got to tell this guy anytime, anytime. So it should be getting its stuff and actually making some hooch, I think. I think that's what this is doing right now. Dump input tank, dump output tank. So I'm not really sure there. So now we need some fluid duct. And let me see, we'll put our drum just right here. And then our fluid duct, we'll just slap it in there between there. And we'll tell this one to extract. Hopefully it's, what is it filling up with? Hooch. Okay, so there is some hooch in there. Hooch is white. Why is it showing it black? That ain't right. I'm thinking that's oil. Okay, so let's make this one insert. Okay. So we got at least one bucket of hooch in there right now. So I'm going to let this cook up. Get us several buckets. I don't want to try this with just a single bucket. This looks like it's pretty slow. So I may even want to add a second one, a second vat maybe. Put another vat right here, and then have them both go over here. Maybe that'd be a little quicker. Seems fairly slow. Did it just make some? Yep, just looks like it makes about a bucket and a half or so each time. Still pretty darn slow. So I'm going to let this go for a little bit, just see how long this takes, and possibly add a second one right here so we can speed up that process. And then we'll come back and set it up. It's pretty much going to be an identical thing for rocket fuel. I may have to move this up. Move that up there, put that. Okay, well, let me let this sucker run for a little bit, see how it does, and we'll be back. Just a second. Well, this is actually so slow that I added 2 more, and we're still only up to 35 buckets of hooch, which isn't very much. You can see it takes a little bit. Now, it unfortunately does not take a lot of power, so conceivably, this, I mean, if you have the material to put in here, this is really low energy, 20 RF max a tick to make this stuff. So all of these is only using 60 RF. So one dynamo, I think, would be sufficient to power this, because the only power is through the vats, not through any of this piping or the water or anything. You wouldn't even need like an ME system. You could just dump it into chests, or however you wanted to do it to get it into here. Hooch, if we look at the, you could even use hooch as a fuel. It only does 60 RF a tick burn time. I'm going to guess that's in a combustion engine. So that is actually about equal to fuel, because fuel is the same thing. It's 60 RF a tick burn time. The only difference is, let's look at buckets real quick. Bucket, if I can spell it. If we go find hooch, well, oil, see, fuel bucket is 60 RF a tick, but it has a 2500 burn time, so it's going to burn for quite a while. If we can find hooch, it's 60 RF a tick, but it has less than half. It's about a quarter of the burn time of fuel. So if you're going to go 60 RF and you can get your hands on oil, fuel is your better source. But of course, we really don't care about that. What we care about is just raw power. Rocket fuel is 160 RF, so it's more than double the hooch, but it only has a 7,000 tick burn time, I think, or 7,000 burn time. I don't know if that's ticks. That's probably ticks. Burn time. So you're not getting even though you're getting a lot more power out of it, you're getting a less burn time. So, you know, fuel is really nice just because it has such a long burn time before it gets used up. The power gets used up out of there. But of course, we're looking at, you know, the different fuel systems, so it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, probably none of them touch a really efficient big reactor's power source. But let's say you don't have big reactors in your pack, you got to look at other options. So we're going to continue letting this cook up. I want it close to a full barrel before I start messing with the hooch stuff. So when we get real close to that, we'll come back and we'll build the second part. We'll probably do something similar, 3 vats into the hooch. And before that, I got, of course, set up a way to get the gunpowder and redstone. Because if we look at rocket fuel, it is going to require gunpowder, 1 gunpowder, and 1 redstone and hooch to turn into the rocket fuel. So as soon as I get up a little bit more on this, we'll come back and put all that together. I'll do the chest and ME crap on just off video. So back in a second. Alright, it's about halfway there, roughly, give or take. So I want to go ahead and get this set up so we're ready for it. So what we're going to do is, once this filled up, I don't want to run it yet, but we're going to run the item ducts first. Just, hello, don't freeze up on me. Just like we did from here, we're going to come out of this one, which is gunpowder, and this one, which is redstone. So we're just going to take 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And then we're going to set this one up to insert, this one up to insert, and this one up to insert. And these should already be extract. So probably got to do that, and we got to do that. And we aren't getting anything. There we go. We're getting something there. Get something there. Getting something there. Probably could do with some speed upgrades. Why is this one? Oh, okay, now it is. But it's so slow, I don't think I'm going to worry about speed upgrades. And if you hear a little noise in the background, that's just a fan. It is hotter than blazes down here in the Houston area today. It is about 6,000 degrees. We had such a nice, mild start to the summer. Plenty of rain, kept everything nice and cool, and that shit has stopped. And we're paying for it now. That sun is out, magnified times 10, beating the crap out of everything. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll run a fluid pipe eventually over to all these also from the hooch drum, still filling up, and from there then again we'll come out with these into our barrel. And then what I want to figure out is, will this stuff burn in a Buildcraft combustion engine at 160 RF, or will it only work in the EnderIO? So I'm going to go grab another tank, or another drum. Got plenty of these things just sitting around out here in the hallway. Did I pick that up? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So we're going to let all this fill up. I'm going to let that finish, and then this will do the same thing as this is doing right now. It's going to take the hooch in here, combine it with our other two, and it'll slowly change into from hooch into rocket fuel. And then that will go into our drum here. I'm only going to use a regular drum because I don't know how much of this stuff. I don't want to make too much. Let's do an insert on that one. We'll do an extract. I don't want to make too much because this isn't something we're going to... Oh, no, I need an extract. This isn't something that we need too much of, just because we're not going to be using it as a main power source, so I don't see the point of keeping a whole bunch of it around. But this is our little kind of refinery set up. I don't know if this is good, better than the BC setup. Kind of cool looking though. But I'm gonna let it do its thing. Nothing in there yet, of course. It's not doing anything. But you can see kind of how slow this is. It does about a bucket every time. You can see how slow it's kind of changing color there. Once it gets to the kind of the all white, like just about now, it should almost dump. I think it actually says program. Yeah, it dumps it all out and then starts its process again. So you can kind of see how slow this thing. I guess this is the actual progress bar. I thought this was just a heat, but no, this is actual progress. So it's pretty slow, and it dumps out about a bucket, which isn't bad every time. It's just relatively slow. So we're at 144. As soon as this fills up, then I will start turning it into the rocket fuel through the same process here. The only thing that we need to start, you can see underneath I have power lines running from this tesseract runs underneath the ground here and comes up and charges these, so they're all powered. And it's just missing hootch right now. It needs the hootch in the input tank. So as soon as I get up, we'll run a pipe up and over and into all these. So give it just a little bit more time, and then we'll see where we're at. I'm going to make a... I've still got some combustion engines from Buildcraft, and I've got at least one from EnderIO. So we'll run a test and see if it'll work in both or if it just works in one. Because the Buildcraft machines are so much easier to make than the EnderIO ones. So back in a sec, and then we'll try that test out. Well, while I was waiting for all that stuff to get done cooking, and it is done, but we were talking last time about this Buildcraft energy, and I am of the opinion that Buildcraft pipes suck. Now, I tried a pump to Buildcraft quarry pump. The old trick used to be is you did an endless water supply below the pump, and then the pump would fill up your water supply. It didn't keep up. So down there right now, we have an Octopus Accumulator resonant. This keeps up fine with the dynamos, the steam dynamos that we have upstairs. And there's more of those than there are of these. But I'm getting the same problem you can see here, where it's just now starting to fill up, and it's been a while. It's been like 5 minutes or so since I shut this one off. And I've turned off all my nuclear power. We have a laser drill going, so that's 20,000 RF a tick that's going to that. Our ME system alone, just the ME system, that's nothing running, no ore being processed, is just over 1,000 a tick. And then, of course, you know, it's got power coming out for the ore processing and whatnot, and it takes a very long time for this to fill up, and it will not stay running for very long with the water. So I'm of the opinion that these things suck. I just don't know how, other than running 2 or 3 resonant Octopus accumulators, to put enough water in here to keep this supplying. I don't know if it's the combustion engines or it's the pipes. I really don't. But this fuel is so efficient. I've had just 5 buckets of fuel in here, 5,000 millibuckets, 5 buckets. And this thing has been running forever. I'm not adding anything into it, but it's been going for a really long time. Of course, now it's only generating 60 RF a tick, but that fuel is really, really efficient. So, you know, it runs for, I'm going to guess that 25,000 is ticks. So I'm not going to try to do the math on that, but that's a long time. But now this is all cooked up. We've got a full barrel, and these are all pretty much full. Pretty close to full. Probably won't run anymore because it doesn't have room for it. But what we have is a... oh, I got to move this. I got a little ear itch going on there. We got a EnderIO combustion engine, and we know that this one will burn fuel because that's what that one is. And then we have just a Buildcraft combustion engine. So I want to see if it will also burn this fuel. So we just got to turn this one on here. So now it should be running. So this one's generating 160 RF. This one will not run off of that. Okay, so now we know that for sure. So what's our burn time? It's putting everything in here. So let's turn this off. Let's don't give it anymore. Never active. We'll turn that. So it shouldn't be getting any more. So let's see how long it's going to run. 7 ticks per millibucket. So it's going to go through this really fast, I have a feeling, compared to the fuel. I'm still thinking the fuel is probably the best fuel as far as just power and pure runtime. I'll have to look at other forms of fuel that we have the availability for, but still, I mean, 60 a tick, that's not bad. It's just, let's see how long this runs. I'm marking it right now. It is 4:16 p.m. my time, so I'm going to let's see how long this thing runs, and then I'll be back. So it's been about very, very close to 30 minutes. There's less than a bucket left in here. Now, just to show you comparison, it's put out quite a bit. We're over the 4 million mark, so you figure this thing is putting out about 3,200 RF per second. If it's doing 160 RF a tick, and I think there's 20 ticks in a second, you know, that's quite a bit of power. And it's just about out. But in comparison, this thing still has 2 buckets left. Now, of course, again, it's only doing the 60 RF a tick. So it's a 1/3 as much power, but it also has been running for a lot longer than this thing is running. So, I guess it would just depend on your resources, how much immediate power you need to generate in the space. I don't like these pipes at all. I'm going to try rebuilding this unless somebody can tell me in the episode before this, because I actually don't have that one up yet, how to fix this. I'm going to tear this all down and redo this with EnderIO Conduit. That stuff just is far superior to just about any pipes. The ability for it to run multiple different pipes all in the same space is just awesome, and the ability to upgrade the speed and whatnot of most of the pipes is pretty darn good too. So I like this, and I'm gonna do something with it. That'll probably be next episode. And unless I get some comments on the previous episode of this one, I'm gonna tear this crap all down and redo it also. So this is your EnderIO, probably best source for power is this rocket fuel, 160 per tick. That's pretty good. So I appreciate everybody. Appreciate. I love you guys. Thanks for coming by. I hope this helped out anybody who's ever been looking at this and kind of wondering how to do it. This is my first time ever messing with it. So don't forget to hit a rating on there. Subscribe if you haven't. That's the best way to find out when I put out a video. I'm shooting right now for 3 weeks. Not going to promise anything. But it would also help me out greatly if you guys would share this around the internets, the interwebs. Put it out there for people to see. It would help me get noticed a little bit more for my Minecraft. So I appreciate you guys coming by. And until next time, I will see y'all later.